I have more experience interviewing musicians, and I've found that some of them have a hard time actually talking about music. And I don't know if that's just because they're just being artsy or whatever. But as with comedians, they love to talk about comedy, and I guess that's just the nature of their business.
Comedians like to talk about anything. Comedians like to talk. As long as they're talking, they're happy.
Yeah.
We're very self-centered animals. If you want me to talk, I'm ready. Turn me on. Let's go. Musicians, I've interviewed a couple. I find there a lot of them, especially bass players and drummers, I think, are a little more subdued, and they let their music do what they want to do creatively. Right. Yeah, I envy musicians. I mean, I in the sense that I play guitar. I've been one of the best bedroom guitar players in my house for a long time, and I've sat in with some of the greats. There's some of them are dead, but nonetheless, I think they would think I was doing a great job. But the musicians I've talked to, I just found them to be, they're like, what, man? Do you want to play or?
Can we jam?
Yeah.
So last night in your conversation with Eugene Merman, someone from the audience asked the question, does the trumpet have a chance against the guitar? It was a ridiculous question, but it turned into a little bit of a debate between you and Eugene, which was funny because he's kind of like the guitar indie rock guy, and you're more like the hard bop jazz trumpet guy.
Well, it just seemed like obviously it wasn't a serious question in a way, but it sort of turned into a serious discussion. And in my mind, does it have a chance? Of course it has a chance. I mean, I don't even know why you're comparing them. And then Eugene was a little misinformed about what a jazz combo was, or whether or not there's hardly ever a guitar in a small jazz combo. And the truth of the matter is that a trumpet, just like a guitar, if you got a guy who knows how to play it and he's expressing himself through that instrument, any instrument's got a chance against any instrument. I mean, a harp has got a chance against a guitar. It doesn't matter what it is.
You've even referred to your stand-up style as comedy jazz.
Have I?
I read that somewhere.
Oh, maybe I have. I don't know. I find that if I'm doing my best comedy, it's usually between those moments where I do prepared material and I sort of go out into some other place. And I take a risk at just, engaging the conversation at hand, whatever's going on in my mind with an audience. And that's really the way that I write jokes. I was talking about that with Robin today. I don't write jokes. I get on stage and I have something I want to talk about. And then I'll basically put myself in the position to where I have no choice but to find something funny to say because I've opened it up. And I don't really know where it's going to go. And it's not that I'm riffing or improvising necessarily. It's just that I don't write a punchline. I wait till they're delivered to me. Like I'll just be on stage and I'll say something. And in that moment of silence, usually if you're a funny person, you're going to want to fill the air with something that'll break the tension. And that's where they come, the punchlines.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't come. So then it's not that great a jazz show. The high note didn't hit. But I'm willing to take the risk. I'm not that famous.
One all-time favorite artist of yours?
Like when I'm at the gym, I have my iPod now, so I have the whole history of the music that I love. Like I found myself listening to Rolling Stones' "Let It Bleed" the other day, and I still can't figure out why no other music sounds like that. Why they're my favorite, I don't know. I always loved Keith Richards, and I just loved the idea of the Rolling Stones. But when I started to get into them. And it's so I guess I could pick another band. I mean, there's a lot of new bands I listen to. There's a lot of bands I love, but something about certain production values of certain records that I heard when I was younger. I don't know if I'm being an old man about it, but it doesn't seem like between, Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, and, Exile on Main Street. It's like, where does that come from? They were just such great records. And even if I listen to the Beatles now, I'm like, how were these people, where did this come from? And I don't know if it's because I was wired with it because I was a kid, or they're really, truly amazing recordings.
And speaking of going back in the Stones, I guess Jimmy Fallon's doing a whole week of bands coming in and doing Stones covers.
So he likes them too?
I guess so, yeah. Have you seen his show, Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, I like Jimmy Fallon's show. He doesn't want to put me on it.
He doesn't?
No, I don't know why. Unfortunately, despite the fact that I'm not very famous, I've been around a long time. And I think these guys, they want to bring in the new crop. What are you going to do? There's a lot of new, young, funny guys, I guess. And, You just got to sort of, accept that.
He'll get you in there. I mean, he had like Christopher Cross on a few months ago. I mean,
well,
come on.
are you putting me in the same place as
Smooth Rock?
What was his big song? Wild
Like
as a
sailing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're the equivalent to Christopher Cross, but
no, I mean,
I'm just saying he's not like.
I like watching
guys.
Jimmy. Yeah, they seem to be doing whatever the hell they want, and they're doing it, specifically in a style that fits him, and it definitely has a new feel to it.
What about bands or a band that you're into right now? A new band? Anybody that's you listen to on the iPod?
Yeah,
on the iPad.
I like Iron and Wine a lot. I like Kings of Leon a lot. I like who are those two guys that do the blues?
The Black Keys?
Yeah. I was really surprised because, I play a pretty good blues guitar, and it's one of those bands where you're like, why can't I do that? And then you got to go, because you didn't. And, but, the way they hold the sound together and how big it is, that's pretty amazing. And I saw them live, and they were great.
How about any guilty pleasures? Something that you wouldn't go around telling people you listen to, maybe something from your childhood that...
Other than the Rolling Stones and Lynyrd Skynyrd? I mean, where do you want me to go?
That's not a guilty pleasure. But like, something like,
oh yeah,
like, I get down with Madonna at the gym or something. I don't know, anything that you wouldn't.
Well, I've talked about this a little bit before. I did get the Pitchfork 500, and I put it on my iPod, and there's a whole section in there of sort of disco dance music that I'm surprised, because when I was in junior high, I guess 77. When did I start high school? I don't know. I was 13 and 76. So 76, 77. Before New Wave came or before punk really took hold, I mean, that shit was everywhere. So it's surprising how much of it is still in my mind. And sometimes when that's on, I find myself pretty excited about it.
I think that's all I got.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, Marc Maron.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Peter.